It's a program for filmmakers by filmmakers. It's the Breaking Indie Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to the Breaking Indie Podcast. Today's episode is going to be slightly off-brand, but very exciting. We have with us a couple of artists, muralists, and from the world of advertising. Chris, and is your son, Will?
Yeah, it's my son, William.
All right, it's a family business, guys, so welcome. Thank you for being here.
Mm-hmm.
We're here at the Santa Fe Film Festival. And one of the particular things that makes this exciting for us is throughout the town, we've been seeing this really beautifully designed poster. And I guess, Chris, we have you to thank for that. Is that correct?
That's correct. John Henry contacted me a couple months back, and he said he needed a real fun graphic for the 25th anniversary of the Santa Fe Film Festival. And I was thinking, what about Santa Fe? What could really kind of tie this whole thing together? Because I looked at some of the previous posters and graphics, and the thing that strikes me about Santa Fe is it's a walking contradiction. I mean, you have people that are wearing suits and ties and bolas, and then there's this whole really casual New Mexican feel also. So I tried to convey all that in the poster when I was designing it.
Cool. Yeah, awesome. That's obviously the poster there.
There it is, the original. I did the original painting. It's been moved around to different venues. People have been using it as a selfie spot, which has been fabulous. And now Will and I are in the process of painting a mural on Cerrillo Street that's quite a bit larger than the original poster that I had designed.
Amazing, yeah. And we have some time lapse of that, right?
Yeah, so hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's run the tape. That's really cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you came from the advertising side doing billboards, is that correct?
Yeah, I started painting billboards and wall signs back in 1973 for a company called Foster and Kleiser. They were the granddaddy of all billboard companies in America. They had plants, they called them plants, in all the major cities. And it was a union job, which was fantastic. And of course, being in the film industry, you could appreciate the value of being in a union. They protected us. I started out as an apprentice. I did a full apprenticeship, worked my way up to a journeyman sign painter and then a pictorial artist. And a pictorial artist was a fellow that would go out and do the high-end stuff, the portraits of women, you know, the Marlboro Man, whatever it happened to be. We were the guys that did the really highly technical stuff.
Were you guys painting these murals or like painting billboards?
Well, remember, this is before the computer was invented, before any digital. Everything was hand-painted at that time.
Amazing, wow.
Mm-hmm. And some of them were gigantic. They were 20 by 80-foot billboards or wall signs on rooftops in major metropolitan cities or on the sides of interstate highway.
So when you're doing something that large and you're doing it hand-painted, I'm curious to know, how do you scale something that might be drafted at a much smaller level? How do you scale that up?
I'll let Will tell you how we scale it up.
We use a process called cartooning to scale it out. Basically, we do a breakdown of whatever we're painting. It's a line drawing, all the color breaks we need and whatnot. And then we burn it with our electropounce machine. So
I'm sorry,
yeah.
what?
So it's the same process that they used for the Sistine Chapel, but we've simplified it and modernized it. So he used to draw his live models with a pencil or charcoal or whatever. And then his apprentice would come through with a roller wheel and punch these holes on all the lines that he had drawn. Then he'd take that to the fresh plaster, hit it with charcoal, the paper, and the charcoal would go through those little holes. You'd pull the paper off, and those holes would be, the charcoal would go through it. You'd have your line work that you'd need to paint the image.
How does it get bigger though?
So Michelangelo he'd draw it to scale. Or to whatever scale he needed. We use a projector. I do the breakdown drawing on my iPad. I project it 4 foot by 8 foot sections.
Okay.
On the big giant rolls of paper, and I project the lines, and then I've got a little pencil that's got a current running through it, and that burns the holes rather than having to use the roller wheel.
I see. So that's what you're burning.
Electropounce. Yeah.
Electro bolts.
Yes.
And sometimes on these giant jobs that we do, I mean, we have a bag full of paper this much. And it's the most priceless bag of paper you could ever imagine because we haven't painted this thing yet. And by the time we've used that, transferred to the image, the paper's basically worthless. We just throw it
Maybe ground cover at some point. You put it down below so you don't get it on the floor.
So it's kind of a fun process. But he's gotten very good at doing the color breakdowns, because that's a trick in itself to find out where one color sort of like stops and the other one starts. And of course, it doesn't really do that. It's kind of a blend a lot of times, but you have to have an artistic mind when you're doing that.
Like we're looking at the definition of a popcorn in this
Right.
situation.
Each one of those color breaks has got obviously a line around it, but there's breaks in here, there's breaks on the collar everywhere, you know, and you gotta know what to look for, because there's some stuff is there even though it's not seen, I guess, if that makes sense. So
interesting. And what is do you have like a method? Is there some kind of trick to it, or is it just like, okay, like I've just gotten good at this over the years by eyeballing it?
Well, the trick is to know the scale. I mean, the advertiser, or in this case, I did this myself. You have to know the scale.
Scale helps.
And figure out, we got to put this on a 10 by 20 foot wall.
And you got to know how to paint it. So when you're up there, when you're breaking it down, you need to know how you would paint it. So someone who doesn't paint would struggle doing a good breakdown, in the fact that they draw the lines and
very sloppy. Yes. I'm like, do I go against the grain? Is there grain? I don't know. But
or you leave a lot of things out, or some people put too much information in. But anyway, so that back to the question, that's the process of transferring the image.
Okay.
Then you have to access the wall, whatever it is. And this goes back to set design in Hollywood. I mean, they had guys that were painting backdrops up until recently. They were all hand painted set design, and they use basically the same process.
Okay. Wow. And so I'm curious now on the graphic design side, how did you kind of like decide, your, because you did a really good job, I've noticed, with the lettering and kind of the unconventional, let's put the more vertical than horizontal, and it all fits into this very nice aesthetic block.
Thank you. I have a lot of experience with typography.
Yeah. Can we talk about that for a little bit?
Well, when you're in the business, what ends up happening is you go, well, that doesn't work. A customer will give you something. You go, well, the text sucks, but I'm not going to tell him that's what he wants. That's what I'm going to do. But over time, you start to realize what really works. And a lot of times in billboard or outdoor advertising, it's a one-act play. And you're driving by at 50, 60 miles an hour. It's you just got a quick moment to get all the information, read the copy, and you're driving down the road or walking by. So you learn what works over time as far as text and how you need the image to draw you in, the text to read, and then if they have more time, they could start to drill down on the other parts of the mural, the billboard, or the wall sign.
Yeah, that's something that I've kind of noticed, like for myself, coming from the filmmaker side, where it's like, okay, I created my short film, but then it comes to advertising or graphic design, and I never took a graphic design course. I never learned that. I've only learned through other friends or outsourcing or over time by doing. But typography is like a very niche art, and there is certainly an art to it.
You can outsmart yourself. Every font has a message to it. I like to say, if you look at, like, for a funeral home, we call that a funereal font. You're not going to use that for Joe's hot dog stand.
Right. We're not going to use some bubbly, fun, glittery looking font for something there's a tone to fonts.
There is a tone. And over time, you just learn it. You just operate on a subconscious level with that. Yeah.
And we've painted everything from a 20-foot letter to a, half-inch letter for mandatory at the bottom of alcohol ads,
Oh, sure.
All that has to be on there. So
Interesting.
It's a very, to do what we do, you got to be pretty versatile too. It's like Will says, sometimes we're doing a real tight blend. Other times we're painting a 20-foot tall letter on the side of a warehouse.
That's cool. Well, I know they've cut out a lot for you guys to do, and I look forward to seeing the finished product out on the side of Cerrillos there. So I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know you guys are busy this weekend, but thank you for coming in and sharing a little bit of your knowledge and experience. And what's the name of your guys' company here in town?
Altitude Murals, but we're out of Denver, Colorado.
Oh, you are out of Denver.
We're out of Denver. We travel around.
we're going
I'd also like to say, I see that there is a correlation between what we do and what filmmakers are doing. You're always solving a problem with a film, the angle, the lighting, when we design billboards or wall signs, we're doing the same thing. We're solving a problem. That image has to go on that wall. What is the best version of that on that? And so that's the fun part of it for us. We also, another correlation is we work in all kinds of weather.
Oh, yeah.
We don't.
How can you do that, though, if you're painting, though? Like, that's got to be...
Within a 2-week span, I was on a rig and above Blacktop, and the hottest day in San Francisco history, I think it was 105. And then less than a week later, a week and a half later, it was -30 in Chicago.
Oh, my God.
Same paint, different additive. You put different stuff in it to make it work.
Okay.
We do
pretty extreme.
base alkylate enamels. They hold up well. They're real crisp, and they work when the temperature drops. They're not like acrylic. The paint is still fluid.
Okay.
But that's the other thing that we have to do, that you do in the film industry, is you just get the job done, whatever it takes. You know, when you're on the set, you're on the set, and it's whatever you got to do to finish this thing. Advertiser isn't going to wait, and you got to go to the next job. So,
yeah, like you said, problem solving. Yeah. Well, Chris, Will, thank you guys so much for being here today.
Appreciate it, Brenden.
And yeah, beautiful job on this particular piece of work. And do you have other stuff around town that I may have seen?
Not in
Santa Fe, no.
All right.
A lot up in Denver, a lot and all around the country, but
Phoenix, Sky Harbor, visiting those.
We hope to come back and do more stuff.
Well, we're lucky to have you, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, like, subscribe, all those normal things, and stay tuned. This might be a multiple parter. Who knows? More to come. Breaking Indie.
It's a program for filmmakers by filmmakers. It's the Breaking Indie Podcast.